the DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
ECSI fans, do you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all of your sports books and track all of your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You can also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as they're the best account on the platform. Head to the App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire to download the app. Hey sports fans, are you ready for an exhilarating gaming experience? Introducing VIPClub.lv, your ultimate online sportsbook and casino. VIPClub.lv offers a vast selection of sports, from football and basketball to tennis and baseball. Bet on your favorite teams and enjoy the thrill of the game. But that's not all. Our state-of-the-art online casino offers a dazzling array of games, including slots, blackjack, roulette, and live dealer tables. Win big with their fantastic promotions, rewards, and exclusive offers. Join VIPClub.lv today and get a generous 100% match welcome bonus to start your winning streak. Sign up. Bet it, win it, and cash it at VIPClub.lv. Visit VIPClub.lv now and play responsibly. VIPClub.lv, your sportsbook and casino extravaganza. Must be 21 or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Visit gambleware.org for help.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report for Wednesday. I got a little brain cramp here because at the top here it says Tuesday, but I'll get into that in a second. Wednesday, January 17th, 2024, just 2 weeks left of this month. How quick you blink and we're flipping the page and it's February. Shout out to the gentlemen behind the glass, Joseph Shea and Evan Lewis. Shout out to our proud sponsors with an S, WagerWire. Our great partnership that we have with them, Zach Travis, the greatest team in the land in their community and followers. If you haven't downloaded that app, please go to Google Play, wherever you do, download it. It's free. Start tracking your bets, keeping track of your ROI. And if you scroll down to the bottom, start downloading some of those sports books that are available in your state. Take advantage of the free promos, match play, etc. And if you're looking to make a little flash cash, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Travis, Zach, the rest of that team will take good care of you. And the VIPClub.lv, the last commercial that we just placed, take a look at them. Great sportsbook matches. Known Jay for a long time, an ECSI family member. So during checkout, put in ECSI, tell them JD from ECSI sent you. They'll take good care of you there as well. So without further ado, round two, as this show was supposed to be on Tuesday, but the internet wins, but not so far today. The one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis.
The show must go on. Here we are.
You know, the show must go on. Comically, people that are not here, me and Andrew tried for a half hour yesterday, to get our usual Tuesday and Thursday show going. And we couldn't get it going. So we talked for about an hour and 15 minutes. We said, let's play it back today. Well, I got on with the show this morning at 10:30. Good friend and colleague, Julian Edlow from DraftKings. And we're 13 minutes in talking about Bill Belichick, and a big blue screen popped up. And I'm just like, this can't happen again. So I showed the picture to Andrew, and he goes, is the computer all right? Well, so far, so good, Andrew.
So far, so good. We don't want the announcer's jinx, though. We don't want to speak it into existence. We'll knock on the desk here a little bit, keep the positive momentum going here with the show. But it's good to be here no matter what day of the week it is. And speaking of the day of the week, if it's not a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, it appears we don't have many hockey games to discuss. But Jeff, I'll tell you, lately I've been enjoying these small slates. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed with these big slates. Sometimes you see 8, 10, 13 games and you get overwhelmed. Well, here we have a 2-game slate with a postponement. I'm sure we can find a way to make some money with this slate.
It was funny, Monday on Martin Luther King Day, we had 2 NFL games. There was a boatload of college games, the NBA, and a boatload of hockey games. And I had one of my hockey guys reach out to me at around 4:30, 5 o'clock after they got the alert. And he's like, Jeff, you do know there's 8 hockey games going on. And I'm like, none of the numbers hit the system. I'm sorry. But, as of yesterday, ECSI VIPs, we go 1-2. We go box the wire on New Mexico over Utah State. That was great. I played 2 9:00 games in the NHL, 2 team totals overs. Calgary over 3.5. They win 3-2. They're shut out, down 2-0, and they in the blink of an eye they tied it 2-2. Now I'm going get a cheap one and the empty netter. Of course, that doesn't happen. And officially, the Toronto, and you'll enjoy this one. The Toronto Maple Leafs are now officially on the desk until the All-Star break. I couldn't pass up the plus 132 for their team total over 3.5. They scored 24 seconds into the game. I'm like, this is the day. Got a 2-0 lead and do what they do best. Allow Edmonton not only to tie the game, to take the lead, and Edmonton gets the 4 with the empty netter.
Well, I'll say, Jeff, I'll never cheer against you. That's for sure. The only time I'll cheer for the Leafs is when you're on them or anybody I know betting on them. But look, it's something that has to change, that has not changed with this Maple Leafs team, is accountability. I would say is the biggest thing. And I don't want to be the exact same thing I've heard media and podcasts say all season long or even all day long today, but I have to mention it. I do. The Mitch Marner quote after the game. I understand reporters are really good at tweeting out the part of the quote that is the worst, right? But even if you look at the full quote of what he said after the game, to me, Jeff, is that he pretty much, for anybody out there that didn't see it, he still thinks they're playing good hockey. He said, this game is a difference between a good break and a bad break. Are you kidding me? Like, there was a play where there were 4 players in your own end tucked into the goalie. Austin Matthews got out of the way of a shot, refused to block it, and when he moved, it went to the top left corner. Like, these guys, the thing for me is that I still think they're a good team, but they play like individuals. They act like they're all best friends, but they play like individuals. Like I told you, I've got so many friends that are Leaf fans. And you know what happened yesterday? I got a bunch of text messages after the first period. Hey, did you see that Matthews goal? How many goals does Suzuki have? How many goals does this guy have? Does it really matter if Matthews scores a goal if the team loses? Because in my opinion, Leafs fans, I think, should prefer him to go 7 games in a row without scoring if they win those games. And it just seems like it's a team of individuals. Since William Nylander signed his contract, his big $11.5 million, he hasn't gotten 1 assist. He hasn't gotten 1 goal. He hasn't done anything since he signed his big contract. So to me, it's the accountability. Like I think it's important for, same thing I'll say for me as a handicapper. Every day on puck time when I show up, I can't be in a great mood. I feel like the audience wants to see a little bit of character. If I had a bad day on the show the day before, they want me to say, guys, I'm not happy. Bad day for me. I lost the best bet yesterday. We're getting back on track today. If I pulled the Mitch Marner, I would say, oh, well, just another one of those days. I had a bad beat, right? It's same thing for professional handicapping versus professional hockey players. You have to be accountable. So it's unbelievable. And the worst part is, Jeff, is that I think all the ones that you've taken with the Leafs that I remember, I think that you had the right play. Like you're getting the goals, you're getting, they're blowing leads instead of building on their leads. You're getting like 2 or 3 goals because you had the Leafs and Avalanche too, right?
And that's where I was going to go from there. It was the exact same blueprint. Saturday, Leafs score not one, not two, but 3 goals in the first. 3-0. Now, even if the Avs chip away, the only thing I can say very simply out loud after one period of play is, well, if it goes to overtime, someone's going to get to 4. If I get an empty netter, Avs cut it to 3-1. They pull the goalie. If the Avs cut it to 3-2, pull the goalie. I'm great. So it's 3-1 going into the third. I'm like, okay, this is setting up perfect. Now it's 3-2. Okay. Now it's 3-3. Now I'm like, all right, at least get to overtime. Nah, let's let him score again, 4-3. And then the Avs get the empty net for 5-3. I mean, that's back to back. I mean, the blueprint's written. I was going to come on here and I was going to pile on, and I'm going to say, you know me, every year as it gets late and later, you got to have the Leaves in your portfolio. I said last year, they win that first round, which they did finally. The world's that it's off their shoulders. Now they're playing with house money. Of course, they ran into, I think it was Florida. But at this point, if you sent me $100 to put on a Leaves future, I'd send you $200 back, and I'd tell you to take the bride and Henry out to dinner.
Yeah. You could send me a video of just burning the $100 bill. It's sending it lighting a match. Well, that's the thing. And you mentioned last year, and I liked what you were saying last year about that, but also the biggest fear that every Leaf fan had and Leaf better had was when they get that monkey off their back, is that going to be enough? Is that going to satisfy them? And it looks like it did. Florida looked way more focused. I think back to the Canadians when they came back after being down 3-1 against the Leafs in the playoffs. They swept the Winnipeg Jets in that next round. It's very hard sometimes for teams to have a really emotional win in a playoffs and then the next round to just hit that reset button. But one quote I want to mention, actually, I think you'll find this interesting, with Brad Treliving, the GM of the Leafs. No matter how people think about him, picking up Bertuzzi, who hasn't really panned out, and Reeves got injured, and Domi. There's a quote where he said, "Hockey teams are built in the summer. I'm not a big trade deadline guy." And I've been seeing Leaf fans go crazy about that over the past week, because between them, the Avalanche, and some other teams, they're expected to be active at the trade deadline. More importantly, from the defensive side of things, like I can guarantee 1 or 2 defensemen playing for the Leafs right now will not be playing for them in April. So when you have your GM on record saying, "I'm not a big trade deadline guy," what does that mean? How can you say you're not really a trade deadline guy? So that to me is very interesting. But when I said I think it was a month or 2 ago to you that Winnipeg was the best Canadian team, Leafs aren't even the second best Canadian team. They might not even be the third best Canadian team, really. And I think that Edmonton getting Zach Hyman and getting some of these guys, a few years ago from the Leafs, they're proving that they're on a different level. And I think that the Bills can be a good example to use with the Oilers right now in the futures market. How did not one of us take a future on the Oilers when they were like second last in the league? It's crazy. They pulled off the Buffalo Bills in a matter of 2 or 3, 4 weeks. They're on their way to competing for a top spot in their division, which is unbelievable.
Was it now 11 in a row they've won?
11 in a row. They've gone one higher than their franchise record.
Yeah, and I didn't see Gretzky out there. I didn't see Grant Fuhr. I didn't see Paul Coffey. I do see Lord McDavid out there and a few other a few others. Stars, should I say, or studs, whatever you want to use for an adjective.
Well, and the cool thing is that right now it's not even McDavid that's doing the bulk of the work. That's what's so great is, and I've been saying this for a long time now, but when you look at this Oilers team, you don't want McDavid to be in the highlights every night. Save him for when they're down a goal or they're up 1 goal and need that insurance goal. The Zach Hymans of the world, the Evander Kanes, the Nugent Hopkins, the Fogels, the McLeods, the guys that nobody's writing about in the newspapers are who you want to be scoring. I'm not saying, Hyman's obviously getting some attention and things, but you know what I mean. that's what's so great. You look at this streak right now for the Oilers. It's not like we're seeing McDavid scoring a goal a game. That's the best part to me about that streak for the Oilers and why they're so dangerous. You're the futures guy, so I have to ask you, is it stupid for us to jump in on a future right now with the Oilers instead of waiting for them to have a dip? Or are we saying get in now, it's only going to get worse?
Well, I think I don't want to say you missed the opportunity because even a dip at this point isn't going to crash that much. I mean, when we were talking in October before the season started, Vegas was the favorite. And then I think it was Oilers, then Avs out west. What do you have right now for the Oilers?
I'm just pulling it up right now. Let's see. The Oilers to win the whole thing, 10-1.
And to win the West?
To win the West, they are sitting at 5-1.
Okay, so if I asked you this, Andrew, you only could choose one. I'm leaving the Avs out because we talked about the Avs for the West and the Avs to win the Cup at 10-1 on our preview show. If you only could choose one between Vegas, the Oilers, and I'll even throw your Kings in there, but you already got the Kings at 15-1. But if you only could choose Vegas or the Oilers, who are you going to take today?
Vegas or the Oilers? Oilers, I would
Correct.
say.
So we just answered that question. I would buy now if you wanted to add to your portfolio in the hockey because you're not going to listen. If they lost 11 more in a row, yeah, it's going to go to 15, 18-1, but still with McDavid as a lightning rod. And who's to say they don't pull a rabbit out of their hat and add a Ulmark or someone like that
Good
between
point.
the pipes.
Really good point. And that's one thing that I have tried to get better at with betting in general is not feeling down about like I missed the boat. Just you can't dwell on that. Like it happened. The past is the past. If we all could have predicted this 11-game winning streak, we'd all have future bets in on the Oilers, right? And so it's so easy for me to say, well, did I miss the boat? But you're right. I meant if I can go into the Western Conference playoffs with a 15-1 and a 10-1, I can't believe I didn't end up betting the Jets at 18-1 when I was mentioning that on every podcast I went on. But like, what are the current odds for them? 15-1 now. But yeah, I think we might have lost it with the Jets 15-1. Now that's enticing, but still 10-1 Oilers, 15-1 Kings. If I grab one of those, I think there's a good chance Kings or Oilers land in the Western Conference Finals. Correct. So if I have a double digit, future there, and then all I have to do is kind of add one or two teams in the East, and taking a look at some of these Eastern teams, we've got the Rangers, Panthers, Hurricanes, and then the Leafs. That's it's kind of interesting actually. When you look at the futures, it goes West, East, 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 West, West, East, and obviously the Bruins are plus 750. But I actually don't buy into them this postseason either. I don't think they have it in them. Not enough depth, I don't think.
Well, and the funny thing is, if you didn't have them last year off of a historical year, how many people are going to run back to the window and grab them again? Like the Panthers when they had the Presidential Cup, and how many people were talking the Panthers last start of playoffs at least. Mm-hmm. So we did talk Rangers in October. That was our dark horse there in the East. Again, I'm salty, but I got the Leafs scratched off. I don't believe the Bruins either. My preseason pick was the Hurricanes. Not playing great, not playing that bad. Something, Andrew, I don't think they've rounded into form. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Well, this is the thing. We look at some of these teams. Look at the Rangers, Bruins, Panthers, and Hurricanes. Obviously, the Leafs are there as well. Which team do you think has improved the most from last year?
Well, if you ask me who the scariest is the Panthers in my eyes. These guys are just scoring at will. They can beat you 6-5. They can beat you 4-1.
Mm.
I think steady the Rangers. And the fact with Vasilevsky back, not Vasilevsky, excuse me, Shesterkin back there. He's, he hasn't even. Remember 2 years ago when you couldn't get a puck past him? I mean, he was standing on his head. They'd beat you 2-0, or they'd beat you 5-1. It didn't matter. They're the steady. They remind me of the tortoise this year, Andrew. They're just slow and steady, and they're going to keep.
Very true.
This
could and what's great is they have Jonathan Quick as the backup, so it's been less time for Shesterkin. I remember a couple years ago, Shesterkin was playing like 85% of the games. And that does wear and tear. Once you get to the postseason, you're still playing a ton of games. If you go to 6 or 7 games every round, that's a lot of wear and tear in your body. You get a good backup. And that's the thing. You look at a lot of these great teams. Look at Vegas last year. They had 3 goalies playing the playoffs. Florida, Alex Lyon ended up playing well in the playoffs. And there's actually a revenge game tonight with that scenario, I believe. But it is interesting to look at. What's the biggest flyer we would take? No pun intended with the Flyers at 60-1. Crazy that they're in a playoff spot and they're 60-1.
No, it's fun.
Long shot we would look at.
I talked to you last week, and I was looking at this, the records and the standings, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, wow, I must have been sleeping at the wheel, because the Flyers at like 17 wins or something. I'm like, holy cow. Again, I'll age myself. I was like, I didn't see Bobby Clark or Bernie Parent back there, but that's for another day. Anyways, the Flyer, and I don't know if you'd call them a flyer, just quietly going along doing their business. I don't have the numbers in front of me. And just something about the Dallas Stars. I don't know what it is, Andrew.
I like Dallas because they score all kinds of ways. They're consistent. You talked about just being steady. And what they've proven lately at home. Yesterday, their home over streak got snapped, but guess what didn't get snapped? The team total overs. Couldn't believe it wasn't on that one. But when you have a good home ice advantage, come playoff time, that's important. Look at the Carolina Hurricanes. This team doesn't lose in the playoffs at home, really.
No.
If you get that top seed, you can protect home ice advantage, and Dallas will probably have that. But I know we're here just talking in the middle of January, but I'm excited for the playoffs already.
No, I can't wait, and we were going to have some great talks. Get us to the All-Star break. We'll revisit the futures, maybe add a couple to our portfolio, and as they set up the brackets for the tournament, of course, what do we have? Where do we need exposure? What I love about futures, and even after the brackets have been set up, if I have to add one or the other, it allows you, once you get through that first round, all right, I got these guys at 10-1, and their opponent right now is minus 115. Well, obviously you want the 10-1 to go ahead, but you could have 1 or 2 units on the minus 115. Or this is what I say to a lot of people: let the first game play out. If that team loses, now you can come back around and grab them on the plus side. So
futures are so fun come playoff time, because like you said, you don't have to get involved. You could even wait till they go down 3-1 or something like that, and then you're like, sweet, that number you're getting is going to be great on the other team, and you already have the future on the first team. You're all set. Then you're just doing your crunching number. The best problem you can have as a futures bettor is to be worrying about the numbers. If you're scratching your head, it means probably something good's happening.
And especially in hockey, if you got, let's say the Carolina Hurricanes are minus 180 in the opening round versus, against the Flyers, and you got the Flyers plus 150. If the Flyers upset them in the first game, Carolina's going to go to a pick 'em because they don't have the home ice advantage. And so you didn't have to lay the 180. And now they're down 0-1, which, hey, we still think they're going to win. They're going to win game 2. They're going to come back and, split at least in Philly. And the fact of the matter is that you can jump back in on them at even money or minus 110 or sometimes plus 110 just after losing the first game.
I look forward to talking about those and doing those streams we keep talking about, going live and breaking down some of these games. And that way we can actually save some of those clips, put them out on Twitter while we're doing the show.
1,000%. 2 games tonight. Your Montreal Canadiens traveled to the land of the New Jersey Devils. Overnight, New Jersey minus 210. The Habs plus 176. An over-under of 6.5 minus 15 cents. Currently at the Circa. New Jersey minus 174. Habs plus 158. The under now is 6.5. Juiced under minus 18 cents. Thoughts on your Canadiens and Devils tonight?
Well, just 3 wins last 10 games here for the Canadiens. But the funny thing is, who those wins came against? The New York Rangers, the Dallas Stars, and the Colorado Avalanche. That's what's weird is like a young team like this, it's expected to get up for more games than the others. But you lose to San Jose, you lose to Buffalo, you lose to Philly, and you beat the Dallas Stars, the Rangers, and the Avalanche. We're just talking about the futures market. How does that make any sense? How are they winning those games, but they can't win the others? But it's a real good sign for the future from this young team. Jeff, I like the under in this game, actually. Montembeault has been great, home or away. He's getting the start tonight. Jake Allen played Saturday night for the Canadiens, or might have been Monday night, actually. But looking at this one now, I really, really think that this is going to be a defensive-minded game here. And no Jack Hughes for this team, for the Devils. They're 1-3 since he's been out. And every time he goes out, I really feel like right now they need to let Jack Hughes be out for like a month. And when he comes back, be as healthy as he possibly can be. I think one thing that's going to hurt his legacy throughout his career, certainly injuries, right? I mean, you can't control injuries, so to speak. But if you have a player that's always injured, I mean, look at Sidney Crosby. People talked about him compared to Ovechkin all the time, saying Ovechkin was better for the first 5-6 years of their careers. But Ovechkin had about 85 more games played than him. And so when you look at this Devils team right now, when they're missing a few key pieces offensively, I feel like it really hurts them. And they turn into more of a defensive team. I think Dawes will be in net tonight for the Devils, looking for more of a defensive game. But I will say this, and I don't even like saying it out loud. Off an exciting win, this Canadiens team usually breaks my heart. So I stay away from betting this Canadiens team. It's a nice price. I'll be cheering them on. I think the under is the best way to go in this game.
Under 6.5. Devils have any props that pop up in this game for you?
Well, there's one I was looking at was Tyler Toffoli, and you look at some of these numbers here for certain players, how they play without key players like Jack Hughes. Let's go through his numbers here because he's getting all kinds of time on the ice. And let's see, 1823, 1708, 2005. He's going to get a lot of time on the ice, and I kind of want to jump in on his shots on goal prop. You're getting a really good number here for him, 2.5 to the over. Someone that, really, I think hasn't been playing his best hockey, and it's kind of a buy low spot. A lot of times what I've been doing lately, Jeff, with these props is I've been jumping in when they've gone 6-7 in a row, and I'm too late to the streak. Well, I want to get ahead of some streaks. I think Tyler Toffoli is a guy that's really worth looking at here in this one. And then I got to also look at Sean Monahan for his props this time, just to get a point, his point prop here. I'll pull up the numbers here for you on that. But Monahan for this Canadiens team he's really impressed me. He's gotten me excited, and I don't really want them to trade him away, but we'll see what they end up doing and what kind of the return could be. I'll try and find the price here, minus 125. Now that's a pretty good price for a guy just to get a point, just to get on the board. He's out there on all the power plays. He's out there when the goalie's pulled. He's part of the contribution offensively. unless it's Caulfield or Suzuki, usually he's somebody else that's creating plays and primary assist, secondary assist, goal. He's someone I'm looking at. So that's Sean Monahan from the Canadians.
Your second game of the night, and of course, Chicago and Buffalo has been postponed. Are they playing that tomorrow?
They are playing that tomorrow. And I will say I did like the team total for Buffalo. It was going to be a big play for me. I still will be betting it, but not as strong. Here's what I'll tell people out there watching the show right now. If you see Soderblom in net confirmed, bet against the Hawks tomorrow. If you see Mrazek, stay away. He's stealing games right now. But, you've got so many Zaitsev, Bedard, Radish, Johnson, Hall, Foligno. There's a grocery list from CVS full of injuries for this team. And you can't continue to look at this team and expect them to play solid defensively. They've tried to park the bus and play better, but when they play a team like Buffalo, who's hungry for wins, I think there's no way that Buffalo will take a team lightly like the Hawks. So just wanted to get that out there.
Good game tonight. I think it will be a fun game to watch. Detroit travels to Florida. The overnight number, Panthers minus 210, Red Wings plus 176, 6.5 juiced over minus 20 cents. Currently at circa Panthers minus 191, Red Wings plus 173, and the total still 6.5 juiced over minus 20 cents.
I think this game lives up to the hype. I think we see goals. I like the over in this game, Jeff. I don't really want to pick a team. Looking at this Florida team, one thing I look at is special teams, right? Power play, penalty kill. One thing interesting, over their last 10 penalty kills, this Florida team's only given up 1 goal. But they've given up 9 goals over their last 2 games, 5-on-5. So that tells me that they're giving up goals and they're not even power play goals. So if they start giving up power play goals as well, it's going to get really rough for them. But this Detroit team, they're making some noise a little bit. 9 goals scored for them in their last 2 games, beating LA and beating Toronto. Obviously, 2 teams worthy of mentioning. But I do believe that Detroit's defense is still a little bit shaky. I think Florida will not be happy. They're a good team. We were just talking about them with the futures market. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. They're playing at home. They're still getting all kinds of respect from the market, as we can see with the price. But minus 220 against Jersey, they have 37 shots on goal, loss. Minus 400 closing number against the Ducks, 33 shots, loss. To me, I think this is going to be an offensive outburst. It's now the new TNT game. You got Lundqvist, Paul Bissonnette, all those guys on the panel tonight. Hopefully we see some goals here in this one.
And I know we did a lot of talk about what's going on in the season. We did some futures, and there was only 2 games. And, of course, now I get a commercial in my ear. So I wanted to go over tomorrow's a huge, huge slate. There's 3 big games that I wanted just your thoughts of before we wrap things up here, Andrew. And let me go back on here now. Colorado travels to Boston. I had an overnight number of Bruins minus 128, Avs plus 108. That was game 1. The Leafs travel to Calgary, where I hope they burn, minus 130 for Toronto, surprisingly, and Calgary plus 110. And then the Rangers travel to Vegas, and the overnight number of Rangers minus 137. You can get Vegas at home plus 117. Those are the 3 headliner games. Any numbers stick out, or you scratch your head?
Well, I mentioned to you, I'm looking at Vegas. I talked about at the start of the week that I've been back doing my buy and sell segments, and my buy team for this week was the Vegas Golden Knights. People, when I do the segment, they expect me to always just point out the teams that have light schedules, right? Anybody can look at the schedule and say, San Jose, Chicago, Ottawa, okay, this team's going to win 3 games. But I want to look at some games that are going to be challenging, and a really good start to the week for Vegas in that win against Nashville. Now they get a Rangers team coming across, to the West Coast there. And you mentioned how steady and consistent this team has been. That's for sure with this Rangers team. But I feel like it might be a little bit of a step up in class for them to face here a Vegas team very hungry. I don't think we'll get caught off guard. And I think that small little losing streak they had where they weren't scoring many goals, it really woke them up. They needed a little kick in the ass. And after that, Mark Stone scores a hat trick. The team's playing better defensively. I think it's worth it taking a shot there on the underdog. But I think the Rangers might get some love. So if you want to bet this, I actually think I'd wait till tomorrow. This is one I wouldn't want to get ahead of it. Flames versus Leafs. Do you expect things to change or not? And for me, I think I would go our team totals route and go with the Flames team total over 3.5. Last couple games, the Leafs have gone out and gotten their leads, right? They've been ahead. But now I expect the Flames to actually get out in front, start the game with the lead, and the Leafs will be chasing it. They can say whatever they want to the media, but as we all know, it's very difficult to get the lead like they have in multiple games and blow it. But what can they do after they go down is my question. I believe the Flames come out on top. I might even bet the Flames first period money line, because you already know everyone's going to look for another bounce back spot for this Maple Leafs team, but they've got to be exhausted from having the lead in 3 straight games and blowing it once again. I see no reason why we shouldn't be on the Flames tomorrow. I don't want to chase here with this Leafs team.
Does the Bruins get the revenge spot? They lost, I think, a week or 2 weeks ago at Colorado. Again, the overnight number, the Bruins were minus 128, Avs plus 108. Nothing at Circa. Right now on DraftKings, the Bruins as high as minus 142. You get the Avs plus 120, an under-over of a flat 6 over minus 130. Telling me first 1 to 4 wins this, Andrew.
Well, quite often you mention about trusting that opening number and trying to understand why it's set the way it is. So it makes me think, you know what, the Bruins will catch this Colorado team off guard a little bit. What was that, a pond hockey game yesterday with Colorado and Ottawa, 2 goalies that don't have much experience? But I think the Bruins are the play. The matter is, how do you want to play it? What price are you willing to lay for it? I agree with you. I think if I'm playing that one, I'm playing Bruins to get to 4.
The scroll has been going the whole time. If you're not following this gentleman, shame on you. Go over to McInnis Picks. Get all his work at WagerTalk. You can get his work as well at Sports Mayflower. Jump on over to YouTube. Subscribe to Mayflower Sports. While you're there, subscribe to East Coast Sports Investors as well. But as we always do, Andrew, wrapping up this show, tell them what you have to offer at WagerTalk.
Yeah, just always recommend the all access passes. Still a good opportunity to grab the NHL 7-day. I've teamed up with my co-host Carmine from Puck Time. You pay the original price for 1 week of NHL, and you get both of us for that price. So it's a great deal. That expires on Friday. But also the all sports packages. 90 days right now. We have a really great deal running. Doing some NBA action right now. The NFL is going well, and we're involved in the prop market. So all those plays aren't being sold at the front page. So you can't really buy those individually. If you want the props and you want some other plays like that, the smaller plays, you can't really get those at the top. You have to just buy the all access pass. And we're going to be in action tonight with the Aussie Open. So everybody out there, if you're interested, keep your eye out for some tennis.
I've been actually watching the tennis. I actually woke up, 1, 2 in the morning the other night, and I think I was watching a women's match, and then last night I was watching Carlos. Tough first set, and then he rolls the next 2 sets. So good luck beating Alcaraz. But I think Joker's in there too, right? Joe, he didn't pass this one up. Yeah,
he's there.
So I assume he'll be the favorite and Carlos will be the second favorite. So it'll be interesting there. But great as always. You can catch me and Andrew on his channel Friday at 3:00. Later on, actually in about a half hour, Riley Magnuson will be here for the closing bell. I might be joining him. I'm not sure. I hope to. And then tomorrow we'll be back with the closing bell as well. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at DC Sports Invest, the one and only Andrew McInnis at McInnis Picks at WagerTalk. Wish everyone a blessed day and evening. Be safe. Stay in your lanes. Pick and choose. Invest wisely. And get ready for about a half hour for the closing bell.